It's now time for Around Town on KWN Community TV Channel 7. The views and opinions on tonight's program are not necessarily those of the staff nor the management of KWN TV 7 and Dade County Broadcasting Incorporated. Now, let's go Around Town on KWN TV 7.
I'm about to get a complex. They're leaving me by myself every week now. Every time I come on here, nobody else shows up. I don't know what's going on, but you have me today. Hey, and let me tell you what else you have. You have a governor now. You have a governor. Mr. Brian Kemp has been declared our governor. That was a long, hard fight, but it's done, and well, we have a governor now. I'm not sure how done it is, but we do have a governor now, Mr. Brian Kemp. So congratulations to him. I do have a few guests today. We have your Commissioner, Alan Bradford. He's going to come on. He's got something exciting to tell you about, and then we've got a few questions that I'm going to ask him that he don't know about yet. So just get ready. We're going to put him on the spot. Then I have Mr. John Huffman. I don't know if you folks know about him, but he's just this good old guy that just appeared out of nowhere, and he calls himself your Dade helper, and he really is your helper. I watch him on Facebook, and he's constantly doing these acts of love, labors of love, acts of kindness, just some very strenuous jobs sometimes, some easy jobs sometimes, but you just call him up. I guess we're going to have him on here. He may regret coming on here after he gets through, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that could use a lot of help getting a lot of things done. And then we have one of our favorites, which is Miss Shannon Blom from Uncle Lars. She's going to tell us about some new gifts that she has. And, she's a small business owner around here. And if you hadn't been to Uncle Lars, it's up here across from the food outlet. It's right next to where Dave's Auto Sales used to be. And she has the most unique gifts. If you're looking for something just really different that you can't find anywhere else, go up there. She just has some of the neatest stuff. And then she does do lunch every day, and she does a great lunch. It's very healthy, no MSG, no sugars, no this, no that. And I'm one of those people that I think when you start taking things away, then you have to sacrifice the taste. But she really puts out some good stuff up there. I love the baked pork chops that she does, and I love the baked spaghetti and lasagna. But every day at lunch she has a nice lunch with I think you get a meat and 2 or 3 vegetables and a drink, and it's like $6, $7. It's very reasonable and really good. And she can educate you on a lot of things in there as far as healthy eating. So she's going to be on here today. So that's going to be my 3 guests. Do we have that picture up yet? Hasn't arrived. Okay. All right. We have Thanksgiving coming up this week. So I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. All the kids are out of school. And I think that's going to kind of cap it off until we get our guest on here. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back with Mr. Alan Bradford. Now, remember what I said. You watch. I'm going to put him on the spot about the water reservoir. He don't know that yet, but I'm going to get him. All right. So you just tune in.
NL Tax and Bookkeeping is ready to serve all of your tax needs. Nancy Anderton's been serving the tri-state area since 1978. Now you can get your taxes prepared with no out-of-pocket expenses. Ask about up to a $1,200 refund advance. It's fast, easy, safe, and convenient. NL Tax and Bookkeeping is open 8:30 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and 8:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Questions about the Affordable Care Act, We have those answers too, and we offer a free form price comparison. Experienced and professional tax services. NL Tax and Bookkeeping, 500 Alabama Highway 73, 7 miles from downtown Trenton. Call today at 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829. NL Tax and Bookkeeping, 706-657-4758 or 256-597-2829.
Here is one of your fellow commissioners, Mr. Alan Bradford. You hadn't been out here in a while, Alan.
No, it's been a while. Probably about a year or so. It's been a while since I've been down. We hadn't any big things going on in my district very much until the lumber came up in the tree, the clear cut. And now the tire amnesty thing is a huge thing, and I want everybody to be able to know about it, to find out about it, so that they can't say that they didn't know.
Okay, well then I'll tell you what we'll do. Then we'll start out with the good thing. Tell us about the tire thing.
The good thing is the tire amnesty, which has taken a long time to get this into effect.
I remember you did this years ago.
Yeah, and I think about 2003 or 4, somewhere in that area. It's been about 14 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been at least 14
Oh, well, then we've got
years,
a lot of tires accumulated.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. But I'm excited about this happening. And the paperwork's been unreal, dealing with the state, trying to get that done. I
know about that.
I really wanted this done in December, but the lady at the state said do it December the 8th, which is a day that everything is happening that day. You know, it's the day that Nathan's having his business expo and also the parade, county parade. So then we was going to go for the 15th, and then she said, well, that's a bad time because everybody's having Christmas parties and dinners, which they are.
That's true.
So we decided going to the first of the year, which is going to be January the 12th, which is on a Saturday, and it's going to be at the transfer station. And that'll be from 8 to 3.
Okay, now when you're saying a tire amnesty, just tell everybody what that means exactly.
That's old tires that you got laying around that you're not using, and we're going to allow each individual to bring 20 tires per person per
You're
household.
kidding?
Yeah.
20?
Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised how many tires are out there that people got laying around in their yard, and so it's a good time to get rid of those. 20 sounds like a lot, but in Walker County they allowed 25. So I've been to other counties checking out what they've done, and I felt that 20 was a good number for our area.
Oh my word!
And so
20 tires laying around. Can you imagine?
I can't imagine why anybody would have that. But what happens? I've been around a lot with this tire situation. People will go get their tires changed. You know, they charge you $3 to $4, whatever, when they change the tires to keep the tire, and dispose of those tires. Well, you say, well, I'll just take them home. I don't have to pay that. That's $12 per car, you know. So that adds up. And if you do that 4 or 5 times, before long, you've got 20 tires sitting in your yard.
I know, and if you take them down here to the transfer station, don't they charge like $6?
It's about $6 a tire at the transfer station.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be free. It's not going to cost you a dime to bring these tires in.
And you're doing it just to basically clean up
the areas. We have the hang glider people are really good about getting the old tires off of the creek and out of the water and stuff like that, which is really nice. You know, you have this Western Isle problem. This takes care of that. And we have had people that have 150, 200, 300 tires in their yard.
You are kidding.
No, it would shock you when you go around our county. But what has happened, people that own these companies, well, the people that just moved in next to me are in Walker County. They bought a house or some property there, and they built a home. And they were getting ready to build a garage, a detached garage. When they went to dig, they hit all these tires. They had 250 tires that had just been covered up in the ground. And this guy that owned this place, when he sold it to them, he owned a shop in Rossville on Hooker Road. What he was doing, instead of paying to have them tires hauled off, he was just bringing them out there and stacking them up. He saved all that money.
They covered them up.
Yeah, they covered them up. And so that's illegal. You know, that's where it ends up with EPD. And we do have a few of those cases in Dade County, which EPD is working on them now. You know, they know who they are and what they're doing. And I had one guy said he was going to bring 700 tires whether I liked it or not. But he's only going to be able to leave 20 if he does, you know. Because what's happening now, I have to give the size of every tire. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, or 18, up to 19. We're taking up to 20-inch tires. You know, no big truck tires, no tractor tires. And I'm working on a situation now, which I'm already filing the paperwork to be able to do that later on, to take the bigger tires. But at the rate we're going at, we'll be able to dispose of maybe 3,000 tires if possible.
Now, how are you going to dispose of them?
Well, we put them in a trailer and they haul them off and they dispose of them there. They cut them up. They use it in asphalt. They use it in playgrounds. they recycle the old tires. Used to you couldn't do that because they had wire in them, but now it's fiber, so the fiber will cut up and they can use it and not have to worry about it. So that's what happens to them.
I know over here at the playground in the city,
Mm-hmm.
the new playground, we had them put this. It looks like mulch,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really made out of rubber tires.
It's made out of rubber tires, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really nice, and it, and it catches the
Mm-hmm.
fall when children fall, instead of it being, so hard.
Well, they can color that now. See, it's not just black.
Oh, it's colored over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they have a way to dye that, and I didn't know that until I got involved in this tire situation. But they can do that. It used to be just black. You sit around trees and stuff. People use it in landscaping. There's lots of things you can do with them besides just throwing them in your backyard.
Go ahead.
And I was going to say, this is a chance for people in Dade County to get things cleaned up. If they have.
And I hope they will. I hope they will.
Yeah, I do. I do too. It's a really good. It saves that individual a lot. If he's got 20 tires, let's see, 6.5 be $30 that he'd be able to save right off the bat.
Well, but if he takes them over to the transfer station, they're $6. That's $180.
Yeah, it's $180. See, and so,
I mean, I've sent several over
yeah,
there.
mhm. Well, I have too, and I've done that several times to help people out. And if there's some elderly people out there that have some tires in their backyard, if they'll just get in touch with me, we'll help them out. Now, we can't help everybody out, but if you're an elderly person and
Yeah, but we all need to pitch in and help them out.
and on disability, I don't mind helping. I do that every day. I've worked in the propane business for 35 years for Suggs. I don't think I ever charged anybody on service calls that were an elderly person all those years. So I believe in helping. Well, I'm elderly now at that age, so I believe in helping them. Maybe somebody.
Alan, listen, if you don't mind, let's tell him. We was just discussing our birthdays. Tell him how old you're going to be this month.
I'll be 70 tomorrow.
And that's amazing.
It is. I feel good for my age. I'm able to get out and do whatever I want to do. I'm still helping the propane company and stay very active. So.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that will be January the 12th.
Yes, from 8 to 3.
And you will take them to the transfer station.
Yes, we'll have trailers set up over there. I have trustees who are going to be there to unload these tires, and they'll be calling out the numbers. The reason we can't take a whole bunch of tires is because they got to give me a number of everyone on there. And if somebody brought 700 tires, that would be the day.
Well, the thing about it is 700 tires is kind of taking advantage too.
That is advantage. That is advantage.
The 20 tires a person, which I can't imagine having 20 tires laying around at your house, but I guess some people do.
Some people do, and you know me. I've been in their yards. I haul gas, and I see what's in their yards, and that's been going on for a lot of years. That didn't happen last week. So I see what's in their backyards, and people just stack them up. And this is a good chance to get rid of them. Now, this time they need to have the rocks out of them and the dirt and stuff out. We can't take them if they got rock and dirt and junk inside the tires because of the weight problem. But if they want to kind of take all that, they can't have wheels on them. They have to have the wheels off. But I was going to tell you about the people next to me that had all the tires. I have a man's number down in Alabama. He'll come haul them off for $2 a piece.
Wow.
And it didn't matter whether they had wheels or not on them. But if somebody has that situation, they can get in touch with me, and I'll give them that number, and he's glad to come out and do that.
Well, when you did this back in 2013, do you remember how many tires you actually took?
We had 5 trailers, and they estimated at that time there was like 800 tires per trailer. This time,
And did you have 5 full trailers?
There were 5 full trailers, yes.
You are kidding.
No. See, this time I'm set up for 3 trailers, which will hold 3,000 tires.
Do you realize, okay, if you had 5 trailers and they'd hold 800 tires, that's 4,500
That's right.
tires. 4,500
But
tires.
see, that was the beginning of the West Nile things in 2008. That's when it got real big. And so the government was trying to help us get rid of these things. And we had a huge problem because I wasn't able to be there and control what was going on. And so we ended up in a lot of heartache and had a lot of problems. And I think the county finally ended up having to pay a little bit on some of this stuff because it got to sweat a hand. But this time I'll be there all day, because I am retired and I have time to be there. But people don't realize it, but they took how many tires out of the creek, they picked up over there and brought in.
And you said the hang gliders are real good about
they're
that.
real good about helping
Let me
out.
tell you, Alan, those hang gliders are real good
Yeah.
about everything.
Oh, they are.
They're so good about animals,
Anything.
helping
Yeah.
with animal rescue. If you do a citywide cleanup, they're the first ones there. If you you want people to adopt a mile to keep clean.
Right.
They're the first
That's
ones
right.
to do
They
it.
do bird culture gap all the time.
They're just really
Well, I don't know if you
really
remember,
community
They
minded.
tried to shut them down one time. Do you remember that? They had some noise and they were trying to stop the.
I remember years ago they used to catch a lot of grief about stuff, but
But you know, I was a commissioner during that time.
I know they
And
love
I
you.
spent hours. I spent hours, and I've got letters now that I received from all over the world. Not want to shut that down, and it's still going down. It's one of our best tax money places in the county.
Listen, I went over there and hang glided.
I know I was there when you did.
Yeah, and I loved it. You know what I said? I said every atheist should have to hang glide.
That'd change your attitude.
Well, I just know I just know the impression and the impact it had on me. I got up there and I thought I was going to be really scared, but I got up there and I started crying. It was just so overwhelming to see those clouds and up there. I mean, it was just breathtaking.
Well, I've had an open invitation to do that for years, and I've never done it. And I really don't have a fear of height. I just don't know what it is. When I was in Vietnam, I had 1,300 flight hours in helicopters. So I don't have a fear of heights.
Well, I do have a fear of heights. I do have a fear of heights. But we did a little, we did that little contest on here, and I kept getting everybody to vote for Ann.
Yeah,
But in the end, Doris was thought she was going to be real bright, and since it was so close, she let us both do it.
Oh, I know it. I remember.
So I had to do it, but
I was there when you went. I remember that.
Yeah, but it was a great experience.
Yeah, it is.
It was a great experience.
I'm going to have to do it, and I'm going to do it.
Alan, you really ought to.
Matt's always been a good friend of mine, and he's always been very helpful. Anything we ask for, he's always there. Like you say, if we need people to work.
I know they donate all the time to everything.
They help in our county that people don't even know about. But I want to read some of this real quick before we. How much longer do we have?
No.
I have time to
What do you want to read
this.
to us?
I just want to make sure that everybody understands this right here.
Okay.
I'm going to read this off so all
Is
of you
this
out
about
there
the tire?
in TV land will understand about the tires. It says, the landfill gates will be open for this event from 8 to 3 o'clock. Now, at 3 o'clock, we're going to have to shut you off because, we closed the transfer station down at 4 o'clock at the back. So we can't have the cars going over. And then we're going to have car and light truck tires up to 20 inches only. Tires must be dismounted from wheels and rims. Tires greater than 20 inches will not be accepted. No large truck or tractor trailer or heavy equipment industrial tires will be accepted. All tires must be clean, free of dirt, debris, rocks, concrete, etc., and not contain any water. And no 16-ply off-road any size or solid type tires.
Now, what is that?
That's like off of
Forklifts?
forklift stuff like that would have solid tires. We can't take those in because they can't cut them up like they do normal tires.
Oh, okay.
And participants must have a valid ID that displays county residency and have Dade County plates on their vehicles and on their trailers. And the landfill does reserve the right to refuse any tires. And if you're in that range right there, you won't be refused, but you do need to get the water out of them and try to keep them clean as you possibly can when you bring them in.
Well, Alan, we're going to take a quick break, and I want you to stay with us,
Okay.
and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Landers McLarty Ford of Fort Payne is your destination for quality automobile service. Landers McLarty is second to none when it comes to service on your vehicle. You can drop by and see us on Glen Boulevard Southwest in Fort Payne. Call our service department at 256-845-1101 or schedule an appointment online at LandersMcLartyFordFortPayne.com. So whether you drive a Ford or any other make of car, SUV or truck, see our ASE certified and Ford factory trained technicians today at Landers McLarty Ford in Fort Payne.
Well, I thought since I had Mr. Alan Bradford, I just informed him we was going to talk about the water reservoir a little bit.
That's fine. That's fine.
And when I'm asking you this, when I'm talking to you about this, I'm really just seeking knowledge because I don't really, it's so easy to hear one or two little statements and form an opinion. But it's so easy for us to do that, and other people, all of us. But okay, this is what I think I know. The county is in the process of buying property on Sales Lane, and it's how many acres? 500?
No, on Sales Lane, only 63 acres.
Okay. How many acres is it total for the water reservoir?
It's 63 acres altogether.
Oh, 63 acres. Okay, and then the price of the property is
$500,000, $500,000.
$500,000. Okay, and the idea is to eventually have a water reservoir.
Right.
Okay, now this is to stop me anytime I say something
Okay.
that's not right. Okay, so we are. How long would it take for the county? Do we have any idea what it would cost to even build a water reservoir?
We don't really have the cost yet. The water board had a meeting Friday, and I'm not aware of that because I haven't been in town. I just got back in. And I'm not familiar with what they said during that meeting. I tried to get hold of Doug before I got here, but I didn't have a chance to get him. But it's probably going to be very expensive. But is that going to happen in the next year, 2 years? It could be 5 years, 10 years. It could be 20 years down the road before this is finished. We still have to get everything set in place before we can do that. And what we're talking about doing now, the water board and the county are going together on this. We're going to have a meeting in the next couple, 3 or 4 weeks, I hope, to discuss this, to see what's going to be happening as far as the reservoir is concerned. Am I for the reservoir? Yes, I am. But do I agree with amenities that Mr. Sells receiving? I'm not a full agreement of that.
Okay, like what amenities is he?
Well,
Now, Mr. Sells is the actual
He's the owner. Jack Sells
the
is
owner of the.
right.
Okay.
As far as building him a pier and things like that, which has been discussed.
Things like what? A pier
Well,
and what other things?
And a fence for his animals to go in through there, and allowing him 200 loads of dirt, which I did vote for it, but after thinking about it, I'm really not sure that I'm for that 100%, but let him use the property until such time a reservoir is built. And a lot of this is going to come out at our next meeting, which is going to be the next Thursday, first Thursday in December. We're going to hear a lot more and be able to have a lot more information about that.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I hadn't been to your meeting, and I've just heard a little here and there, and then I read that I read that the commissioners kind of got sideways a little bit at the last meeting.
Well, there was a huge situation last meeting. We have 2 commissioners that are leaving, and 2 new ones coming in. And here's the thing: we're supposed to have all this done, I think, by December 29th.
Who set the deadline?
As far as I know, the water company did. I've never got a direct answer on that, to be able to pay Jack Sells what is owed to him. But we can probably pay him a lesser amount at that time to extend it. It's been extended already.
But
And what Mitchell was talking about was $150,000. But
how much has been paid to Mr. Sells so far?
$75,000.
Well, I guess a big question: when was this thought of? When did it come up? Because I'm on the city commission, and you'd have thought I would know a whole lot about it, but I don't.
Well,
so if I don't know, I'm thinking, do the people out there know?
Well, I don't think that people really know all that's going on. And I really don't know all that's going on.
So what I'm saying is, when was it planned? When was it brought up? How long have y'all been talking about it? Because it's really just come to the surface recently.
Well, it was discussed in 1982. That's when Doug brought it up.
Well,
but not to the extent it is now. But this is.
It hadn't been going on since 1982.
No, I'm talking about it was discussed back then that we need a reservoir at that time.
At
that time, Mr. Sells' mother was still alive, and he couldn't do anything with it.
When I had Doug Anderton on here a couple of weeks ago, and he seemed to be pretty just neutral. It wasn't like he was encouraging, discouraging. He basically said that. Now, this is what he said. He basically said that we were at almost half the capacity of water as far as taking it out of Lookout Creek, but it had taken us like 50 years to get to there.
Right.
Okay, so this is the question that I'm going to ask, and I would assume, and I'm just assuming that there's other people out there that would ask. As a tax-paying citizen, I'm wondering, when did it come up? How much planning went into it? Why is it so urgent at this moment? It seems like it is. It's just like it come out of nowhere.
It's probably been 8-9 months. It's been going on really heavy, I would say. I can't remember the exact dates, which things go on. involved in this, but it has been a while.
But Alan.
But now is the chance that Jack has decided to sell this.
But I'm saying we're 8 or 9 months, but it was decided months ago to spend $500,000.
Right, that's what I'm talking
But
about.
I mean,
Yeah.
can we just that quick just come up to decide to spend $500,000? Where are we getting it? I mean, I
Well,
thought
no.
we were all strapped for money.
We're supposed to be getting it through loans, what Doug has said in the water company. And I didn't get to hear him when he was on here.
So
But the water company
so it's not the commission, then it's
No,
the water company.
and I've never read anything where it's 50-50. There's supposed to be some paperwork that's supposed to say 50 county, 50 on the reservoir, on water board.
So
And
you're saying the county's going to pay for 50% and
that's what they're saying, but I've never found that writing nowhere in none of the paperwork. See, it started out, Alex was actually involved in this at one time. Alex Case, the mayor of the city, when it first started out, and then the city, I think, has dropped out of it totally. I don't think the city
Well,
has.
now, wasn't the city dropped out of it? City never was in anything like
Well, I
this.
mean,
there's
yeah,
never
yeah.
been. We've never voted on anything to
Yeah,
do with
right.
a water reservoir.
We voted to do the water reservoir. We voted to do it with the water board. We did vote on that, and I don't know how long ago it's been. It's been a while that we voted on that, to do that. And we also voted to give Ted and the attorney the authority to do whatever needed to be done with Jack Sells at that time. That's where the $150,000 came out. But that came out after, and I can't find in the paper where we had a meeting on that.
See, because I have people coming up and asking me, and I'm like, they get it. People that are not just around here all the time, they get it confused, like a city commissioner and a county commissioner, and I don't know anything. I'm like, well, hey, you know as much as I do, and then they start telling me, well, at the meeting, and maybe I should go to the county meetings.
Well, I think there
guess
should be an intergovernmental meeting with the water company, city, and the county to discuss all this at one time and bring it out, because whenever you do something, it always seems to change. And Mitchell made a motion. I don't know if you know about that at the last meeting.
I just heard that.
Yeah.
I know what I read in the paper,
Yeah.
but
But he was partially right, but he was partially wrong, because we did vote to give them the authority to talk with Mr. Sells and make whatever deal they had to make to keep the reservoir, the property for the reservoir. And that's where we're at right now. We're still at that same point. And I don't know what happened in the meeting this past Friday, because I haven't been in town to be able to find out. But I am going to
and
find
I'm not
out.
trying to
Yeah.
put you
No,
on
no,
the spot.
no.
It's just that people like to know what's going on.
Oh, I know, and I think it should be put out more clearer than what it is, for people to people like me to understand it. I understand.
Well,
it, but
and you're on the commission.
I'm on the
You
commission.
listen. You definitely
Yeah.
need to understand everything about
I
it,
know.
because you're pledging to
I'm
spend
reading every-
$500,000.
I'm reading everything that I can find on that, and I have my own opinions of what I think has to be done, but I think it needs to be out in the public more. So that people can see and understand more about what's going on. I have a good, clear idea of what's happening and how it's going on. And am I for the reservoir? Yes. Am I for all the other things? No. And is that going to happen in the next year or two? That's probably not even going to happen in the next year. It may not happen in 10 years. But you have that authority, you have that position where you can have that water if you need it. One time somebody said mud come up out of it, but that ain't true. That's never happened. The water got so low. I asked Doug, and that's
Well,
never happened.
I would think if it took us 50 years to get to half the capacity,
Mhm.
or right at half.
Mhm. Another 50 years.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. You see, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, do we definitely need it for maybe
Could we
businesses
survive
or
without
something?
it? Probably. But another thing that people think too, they think we're tied into Tennessee River, which we are. We have a valve. But if this water went dry, you couldn't just turn that valve on and have enough water to supply 17,000 people in Dade County. You'd have to build another plant there.
I mean, I just know that on our last SPLOST, there was things on there that we still hadn't got around to doing because we didn't have the money to do
Right.
it. And then, and then all of a sudden we can come up with $500,000.
We haven't come up with nothing yet. Come up with 50,000, and 25 was a grant.
So you received a grant for 25 of
yes.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good.
Well, that's
see,
what
that's what people
Don,
needs to
that's
know.
what Don is working on, is grants, to try to come up with these grants. And people say, well, grant is just tax. It is, but it's our money, and we need to be able to bring it back.
Well, see, yeah, and I agree with that, because
Yeah.
if we don't get it, some other county's
That's
going
right.
to get it.
That's exactly
I mean,
right.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, we've seen so many
Well,
things
see,
happen.
I think people see that's the first
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard about a grant going towards that.
Well,
Now,
you know,
see, that makes me.
25,000 was a grant.
No, I don't think other people out there knows that. I mean, I think that's good to tell people.
But Don's working on different kind of grants, and the water company's working on different grants. And you know, that's something that you never know is going to happen until it happens. You know, you can't just so I can depend on this 500,000 because that may not ever materialize. But the grants are the things that we're working toward to be able to pay this off with. And hopefully that's going to work, and we're going to have to do a lot of things. We're going to have to do a lot of things.
Okay, all right.
And I haven't been to those meetings because, you know, it's you can only have 2 commissioners there, and usually there's 2 there already. So I can't go into that. You can't have 3 commissioners on one of those water board meetings. You know, like Robert, myself, or Ted, or Mitchell, or Scotty, or whoever goes, you know. So I always get beat. But anyway, next time I talk to you, I have a lot more info because I do
Well,
have
listen,
a bunch of paperwork.
all right, so can you sit here and pledge to come back and tell us more about it?
I will.
And maybe
I
a
will,
month? Reckon in a month
Yeah.
you'd
Oh,
have
yeah. Well, I'm going to be gone for a week and a half now. But, yeah, but when I get back, I'll
All
definitely
right.
come back.
All right, Alan, we're gonna let you be our informer.
Yeah, I'll definitely come back.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not to put you on the hot seat or nobody else. It's just people want to know what's going on.
Now-
You know, and if you let people know what's
Yeah.
going on, even if they don't like it or they do like it, there's just
If
something
people
to
are
know.
aware,
There's a credibility and just people know it.
If people are more aware of what's happening, they feel better.
Yeah.
You know, they have a better attitude. They have a better outtake on it, a better look at what's going on.
You know, I had Doug on here, and I tried to get Doug to say that we needed it. You know, and he basically remained neutral. He was very, very informative, but he just remained
Well,
neutral.
there's nobody in around our area that knows water company better than Doug Anderton.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean-
I have a lot of respect for Doug Anderton, but he just basically, I felt like he remained neutral, and just basically it was the commission. It was up to the commission. That's what I got from that.
Well, they have a board there too, and that board has to vote on that also. And I've talked to a lot of the water board members too.
But I didn't understand the water board was going to be spending any money on it.
Well, they're working on a loan at one time. Now, I haven't been to any of the meetings in the last 3 or 4 weeks, but that was the last that I had talked to them about.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you,
But if you want to know
Ella.
something about the tire, just ask me. I got every piece. I can tell you
Okay.
phone numbers.
Well, listen, we know it's January the 12th,
Right.
8 to 3 down
Right.
here at the transfer
That's
station.
right. That's right.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with our, I think we're going to bring Miss Shannon Blum on.
Come enjoy pizza for lunch or dinner in a family-friendly atmosphere at Stevie B's Pizza in Fort Payne. Enjoy the buffet and salad bar anytime, or have a specialty pizza made to order. At Stevie B's, take advantage of 2 Stamp Tuesday for adult and senior buffets, and Thirsty Thursdays when drinks are free after 4 p.m. Take out any medium pizza weekdays between 2 and 5 for just $4.49. And on the weekends, take out any 2 large pizzas just $14.99. Book your parties now by calling Stevie B's at 256-979-1234. Stevie B's Pizza, 2200 Galt Avenue North, Fort Payne.
I am back here with Miss Shannon Blum and Uncle Lars.
Hi.
Look at you. Don't you look good today? You over there serving ice cream in that?
Yes, I am. We wear aprons, so it helps.
Okay, you are across from Food Outlet,
Yes.
in case there's people out there that don't know.
Yes.
And you have all this great food.
Yes.
Now, with the holidays coming up, what do you have going on?
We have, I know a lot of people aren't really paying attention to diets as much as they are like a couple months ago. But we do have alternatives for diabetics. We have alternatives for people with allergens. You're going to have family that's coming into town. We have a lot of gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free. We have regular foods, we have regular sweets, so we try to have something for every single person in their dietary needs. Doesn't have to be, we're not a health food store, we just believe in good food, good for you. I have something new though.
Okay.
This is a big deal. This is a really big deal.
Okay.
For people, you've heard of the keto diet.
Yes.
Where they eat low carb, no gluten, no sugar, which I don't like to use the word keto because it actually works for diabetics. It works for people that's just trying to cut down on some of their sugars. people that work out, that are athletic and they're bodybuilding. They don't want all that junk. We have a new ice cream. It's called Wink, and Wink it's dairy free. So, which is wonderful because we have a lot of kids in our community that are dairy free.
Listen,
a lot.
I'm a person that's dairy free.
Yes,
They
can eat this whole pint for 100 calories, no carbs.
And what's it called?
This is called Wink.
I mean the cocoa.
This one is cocoa dough. We have 4 flavors. We have cinnamon bun. We have cocoa dough. This is a really big deal. It does taste a little different than regular ice cream, but it's going to taste a little different.
But for a kid that hadn't been getting ice cream, I would think it would
Right.
be wonderful.
Or if you was like me, I've lost 186 pounds. So I'm not going to be on a diet over Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'm just not going to. But I'm not going to go hog wild either and fall completely under the wagon because I'll be sick and I won't enjoy it because I've been off of things for so long. So for like today, I talked to a customer that came in and I showed her the Wink and I said, you know, if you're going to have a regular piece of pie at Thanksgiving, which you probably will, you could have ice cream with this ice cream with your pie, and it's not like you're getting, 700 calories or 35 grams of sugar. It's a nice alternative. So that's new in the store. We are doing, we've got our bears, we've got hand-carved bears that are in.
Now look at this.
And those are $50 off through next week. And they're very pretty.
They are
They're
very pretty.
They're solid wood. They're handmade. They're handcrafted. I watched the guy actually do them. He's very impressive. And I've seen other chainsaw art, but to me, these have personality. They look like they're gonna, they just look soft.
That'd be a great
Yeah.
Christmas
It's
present.
a great Christmas gift. Of course, we do our custom baskets. I don't know if you can see the baskets. This is one of our baskets. These baskets we do, you can come in the store. We walk you through the store. You can pick out anything that you want.
we gotta open this
Actually, I know you're going to be in that popcorn. That's okay. We do baskets from $20 up to, I've done them up to $250 for weddings, honeymoon baskets. We do gifts for your boss. You come through and you pick out what you want. We'll make your basket. Sometimes people give me an hour and they'll come back and pick it up. Sometimes they give me a day notice, but we really try to accommodate as fast as you need it.
Hey, and you still have these little snacks. You have new packaging.
I have new packaging.
Listen,
And we have the other bags back in stock. They came in today. The big bags that everybody wanted for the holidays are in.
if people hadn't tried this popcorn, they do not know what they're missing.
No,
And I'm not even a popcorn eater.
I don't know if they can see it. Hold up a kernel. I don't know if you can
This
see
is
this or
called
not. If you can see that,
toffee.
It looks like little flowers. That is a Nebraska popcorn. We air pop it. It's screened 3 times. There's
No
no
kernels?
husk, no kernels in it. I'm not going to say there wouldn't ever be one, but it's screened 3 times. That toffee's made in very small batches, and then it's added in. But that's gluten free,
And this is wonderful.
and there's no preservatives. And my packaging, see that packaging? It's a little tougher than like a regular bag of chips, but that's the preservative. Instead of you ingesting it, we decided to use the packaging for our preservative instead. Bloody Mary mix, I don't promote drinking, but there is a lot of drinking that goes on over the holidays. That makes good soups, makes good tamales.
I know. I put that in my, was it spaghetti or chili?
Chili.
Whatever Shayla told me.
Oh man, it makes the best soups. But we have the Bloody Mary mix in, our organic sauces. You can mix and match in our off the cob chips. 4 ingredients. It's a vegan chip, gluten free. You'd never know it. It's a great bread replacer. If you're trying to get off the breads, you can put like your turkey or your sandwich stuff right on the chip. Cheyenne, my granddaughter's gluten intolerant, so instead of putting her sandwiches on a bun, we put it in a little cup. She puts it on her chips. She's completely happy.
Wow.
I even made a taco lasagna out of that and used this as the noodle, and it worked out fantastic. It's a little heavier than a regular like egg noodle that you would use, so it's a little heavier, but the taste was fantastic. Matter of fact, I made a regular lasagna and I made one like this, and they ate this one instead of the regular one.
Well, now, talking about lasagna, tell us about your lunches every day.
We have lunch every day. We make a new entree every single day. If you follow us on Facebook, you can find out what we're having. Today, We did chicken pot pie. I don't know if you can see that. If I
Wow.
don't want to turn
It looks good.
But this is chicken pot pie. There we go. Can you see it? I think you can. But that is all made from scratch. It looks like biscuits on top. That actually has no gluten in it either. So, like, just because you don't do gluten, that doesn't mean you can't have a bread. Shayla makes that recipe from scratch.
Okay. You come in, you get that. How much is it?
This is $7. But this is, honestly, it doesn't look like much, but when you try to eat that, you're never
I
going to
think
eat
it looks
that.
like a lot.
You can't eat that whole thing in one serving. I get told that all the time.
No, I bought several of your plates, and we've
Yeah.
split them at home.
Yeah, they're very full.
I mean, you get a pork chop plate, you get 2 pork
And-
chops.
This is my favorite. You see this cookie? That's a coconut cookie. You want to know what's so wonderful about that? That only has 2 carbs, no sugar, no gluten. And it's fantastic. Has the cookie bottom. So you don't have to give up everything over the holidays. There's great alternatives. We even make rolls. We make a 3-part, pull-apart Parmesan roll. And when you eat it, you would never know you're not eating a regular roll. 1 carb, no gluten, no sugar. And it is fantastic. And we've actually been selling them by the dozen. We've created a new bread thin. Have you heard about it?
I may have ate it.
You probably have. It's called Uncle Air No Nose. I'm calling it KNOW-NO''S. No nose. In other words, you know how they'll say, oh, this don't have no sugar in it. But then when you read all the labels and you start dissecting 35,000 things on the label, you actually ate sugar. There's like 37 different definitions for sugar. So when we say it doesn't have any, no gluten, no carbs, and it has no carbs, I have a no-carb bread thin. And you can make sandwiches out of it. Peanut butter and jelly, we sell them in a pack of 6 for $5. You can freeze them. They're fantastic. I even put them in a toaster and had dippy eggs.
So, people can come by there.
Yeah.
And you can custom do the baskets if they just want to grab something. I mean, I go by there and just pick up snacks.
Yeah.
And the ice cream. Man, I don't know about the ice cream. I'm not even an ice cream eater either. It's just not my big thing. But they have a little chocolate ice cream over there with no dairy. And what else? I don't know what
There's
it
no
does.
antibiotics. There's no hormones in it. Our regular ice cream, we don't have any antibiotics, no hormones in it. We actually ship it in clear down from Marietta, Georgia.
Well, when I would eat, every now and then, I just like a bite of ice cream. I'm not a big ice cream eater, but I just like a bite every now and then, like the soft serve at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I just like a little bite of it. But if I take a bite of it, I pay for it. I mean, it makes me nauseous. But just every once in a while, I will take a bite. But that chocolate ice cream, I can eat it. And I mean, nothing.
We get that a lot. We have a lot of people come in and say, well, I can't do dairy, but actually some of them can do dairy. It's the way that they process dairy now. The processing of when we used to eat pasteurized milk 20, 30 years ago when we was raised, it's not the same process. There's a lot more chemicals. They take a lot more out of it. They do a lot more to the dairy cattle now. Used to be you would, for instance, my husband was raised on a dairy farm. So you would bring in your dairy cattle and you would milk them for only, so many months out of, and then you take them off. They have a calf. And then you take the calf and then you milk them for a season. When they go dry, you take them off. Well, now they don't do that. They shoot them full of hormones and antibiotics, and they keep them in a cycle for up to 2 years. And as soon as they're done, then they take them and they slaughter them. And so they just, it's these big commercial farms, and that's what they've done to the dairy. And, we used to be, 15 years ago, you'd hear people say, well, it's a peanut allergy. You don't hear a lot about peanut allergies. I mean, they're out there. I'm not saying they're not out there. They're very real and they're very dangerous. But this here, right now, even in Trenton, as small as our store is, the amount of people coming in that says, well, I can't tolerate dairy. I can't do dairy. My kid can't do dairy. My kid can't do eggs is the new one. So we actually have a lot like this dollop frosting. That's a dairy-free. It's gluten-free, has no soy in it. We have a lot of kids that can't do soy because they replaced some of the dairy with soys, and they can't do that either. Soy, by the way, is one of the largest modified ingredient out there. But So we'll have parents come in and get this. This has half the sugar. This one I don't think has been opened. So, but it has half the sugar of regular frosting. They'll come in and they'll get this when the kids have parties at school, or if they're going to a birthday party. They'll buy one of these, the parents will, and the kid can go to the birthday party and they'll get a scoop of frosting. And I know that sounds nasty. If you was going to eat regular frosting, it'd be really thick, really sweet, and you wouldn't want it. This has half the sugar in it, so it's very flavorable. The kids that can't tolerate and can't have the cupcakes like everybody else can still sit there and have their sweet with the other kids. They're not isolated, socially isolated. And sometimes the parents will come and get some of the dairy-free ice cream to take to the party. We have that a lot. We have a lot of parents that have come in and say, well, I want a small ice cream and I'm going to get the frosting. We have a party to go to.
I know, Shannon, your store is just a neat store. There's nobody around here that competes with you.
No,
it's
we're
just a neat store.
We just like to have. I'm always looking for something unique. If you're looking for a gift, I don't want to compete with the other businesses here in town. I love the businesses here in town, and we are even our own store. We use. Well, today I was down at Fred's, got decorations. I was over at Ace Hardware, went and got some of this. I try to buy everything that I get. I try to get it here as much as possible.
That's great.
And so I don't want to be in competition with everybody else in town, but I'd like to give you an alternative where you don't have to go all the way to Chattanooga to go try to find some of the things
Healthy food.
And I'm, we're not Earth Fair. We're not the World Market. We don't have that kind of square footage. But for being in town and in a hurry, you can take the meals home. They freeze really easy. We do fresh soups. The soups are frozen as soon as they're done. We have a lot of people come in the morning and get a soup. They'll thaw it out, warm it up for lunch, and it's just like you just made it. And regular food, I've got regular soups. If you're not watching and don't care what's in it, we got everything in it. But it's still non-modified, and there's no preservatives in it.
Got everything in it.
It's got everything in it. So, we do use wheat products, and we do use dairy products. But if we're going to use those ingredients, then I want a good one.
And you also tell that that's what's in it.
Yes, they'll know what's in it. And we have a lot of vegans. We have a lot of people that actually, the new cancer treatments that are coming out, they're not allowed to have, they say that the chemo works better when they eliminate sugar. Not that sugar causes cancer, I'm not saying that, but their treatments, when they're in chemo, their chemo works better when they take the sugars out of their diets. We have a lot of cancer patients that come in. And they also said that when they come off of the beef or the meat products, a lot of them will go completely vegan for their health reasons. They're fighting.
I think the older you get,
yeah,
the less meat you eat. I know that myself, I'm eating less and less.
Yeah.
And when I do eat it, I just feel so heavy.
Yeah.
Just heavy. Well, Shannon, I appreciate you coming on, and I hope that some people are out there that saw you and will come visit you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, she gives out free samples.
Yes, we do.
Of this popcorn.
Yeah.
And I used to give people samples of this popcorn, and they just take it to be taking it. But people, I'm telling you, this popcorn's something special.
It is special.
The popcorn is something special.
We're in a product launch right now in Atlanta. We're in 27 places. We'll find out here in another month or so if we get to go national. We're real close. It's doing really well.
Well, that's great.
It's doing well.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in today. We appreciate Alan Bradford coming. I'm so sorry. We have Mr. John Huffman here. I'm going to beg him to come back next week. Oh, I feel so bad we didn't get him on here. But we got to talk to Alan about that reservoir. And I just felt like we needed to talk to Alan about the reservoir. We need to take that opportunity since we had him here, take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So I will see you all next week.
You've been watching Around Town on KWN Community TV Channel 7. The views and opinions on tonight's program are not necessarily those of staff nor the management of KWN Community TV Channel 7 and Dade County Broadcasting Incorporated. Join us every week for another edition of Around Town on KWN TV 7.